So when we are finding volume using decimals, it is very easy. We have our formula length times width times height. And again, it does not matter which ones I choose to multiply first. So I'm just going to look for ones I'm like, oh, like those will be easy to multiply first. Which ones do I want to end with? I actually like to start with my hardest number first to get it out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and do my length and my width. So 7.8 times 3.2. Now these decimals do line up, but when I multiply, I don't need to line up decimals. I'm just going to move them at the end. I know 7 times 3 is 21, and it's going to be bigger than 21, but it should be around 21. It should not be right in the 200s. It should not be 2. It should be close to 21. So it should be like a 2-digit number here. So 8 times 2 is 16. So make sure you are doing this with me. Here we've got 14 plus 1 is 15. Now I need a placeholder because I'm going 10 times bigger. So I need my answer 10 times bigger. So 3 times 8 is 24. 21 plus 2 is 23. So I'm adding up. Here's 6, 9, 4, and 2. And I have 2 decimal places. 1, 2, right? A 2-digit number close to 21, 24. This makes sense. Okay, so now I'm taking 24 and 96 hundredths and I'm multiplying it 4.5 times bigger. So just to think, right, this is about 25 and I want it 4 times bigger, right? 25, 50, 75, 100. This should be about 100 when I'm done with it. So 24, 96 times 4.5. I'm not adding zeros. I'm not lining up my decimals. So I don't need to line these up. I'm just multiplying. I'm just ignoring my decimals and moving them when I'm done. When I add and subtract, yes, we have to line them up. Okay, we have to know the difference here. So here is 30, 45, 46, 47, 48, and 20 plus 4 is 24. 10 plus 2 is 12. Right, and now I am getting 10 times bigger, so I put my placeholder. I'm going to cross these all off so I don't accidentally reuse them. So 4 times 6 is 24. Here's 36 plus 2 is 38. 16, 17, 18. And 8 plus 1 is 9. So adding these up, here's a 0. And here is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. 10, 11. 9, 10, 11. And this time I have 1, 2, 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3. I said my number should be around 100. It's in the hundreds, right? If I only put my decimal here, that would have given me a number in the thousands. Put it here, right? That's 10,000. Over here was 11. It should have been close to 100. 111 is pretty close to 100. So my final answer is 111.32. I could put that 0. I don't need it. Yards. And this was 3 dimensions. I multiplied 3 numbers cubed. So when I'm doing decimals, it does not matter which ones I do. I like to get the biggest one out of the way first so that as I get into, right, because this is going to make a bigger number, that I have to multiply by a smaller number when I'm done. So I like to start with the bigger number, actually, so that I can end with a smaller one. Okay, so let's look at some fractions here. So here we have our length, our width, our height. So we have 6 2/3. We're just going to write these out. Times the length of 1 1/4 times 3 1/5. So I know lots of times, right, we're like, oh, fractions. No, guess what? This is actually easier than the decimals sometimes with the fractions. So let's write it all out. So different than the decimals, right? With the decimals, we do one at a time. We have to do these two. We get that answer, and then we do the other one. With our fractions, let's make it one big problem. Okay, so we need to make these improper though. We're not doing 6 times 1 times 3. We need to see how many pieces we have. So we have 6 groups of 3 is 18, and 2 more is 20 out of 3. We're timesing that by 4 groups of 1, plus 1 is 5 over 4. And then we have 5 groups of 3 plus 1, 15 plus 1 is 16 out of 5. Now let's make our lives easier. Let's look and see what can we simplify. So right, I noticed these are going to cancel out. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And now this 4 can go into the 20 or it can go into the 16. Can't go both ways. So I'm going to go the 16. Okay, it goes in there 1 time and it goes in there 4 times. I chose to go 16 because 20 is already kind of a nice number, 20, 40, 60. I don't know how to count by 16s. I could probably think about it, but I don't want to, right? So, okay, I've got 4 here. I can't make 1 smaller. 3 doesn't go into 20. 3 doesn't go into 4. So I think I have everything as small as it can get. So now I'm just going to multiply 20 times 1 times 4 and 3 times 1 times 1. Okay, so, I mean, and if you want, you could have done this one problem and then done this one, but I like to put them all together and see how small I can make everything. Okay, so 20 times 1 is 20, times 4, 20, 40, 60, 80. 3 times 3 is, or 3 times 1 times 1 is 3. Okay, so let's look at that one other way, right? So if I do 20 over 3 and I times that by 5 over 1, or sorry, over, that was a 4. I could have simplified this way, right? That went in there 1 time and 4 goes in there 5 times. I would have ended up with 25 over 3, and then I would have had to multiply that by 16 over 5. So I'm simplifying these. That goes in there 1 time, 5 goes in there 1 time, and 5. So I would have ended up with 16 times 5 is 80, and 3 times 1, right? I get the same thing no matter how you do it, as long as you're simplifying correctly. So we have 80 over 3, which is improper, and I'm done all my multiplying, so now I'm finished. I just need to get it back to a proper fraction, a mixed number. So I need to do 80 divided by 3. So that goes in there 3, 6, 2 times. 2 left over is 20. Goes in there 6 times is 18. 2 left over. So this is 26. And then there's 2 left out of 3. And my lights are turning off. Okay, so this volume is 26 and 2/3 feet cubed. Okay, so I just like to put them all out, make them all improper, simplify as much as I can, multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, make it back to a mixed number. So let's look at one more of those. Okay, so here we have 12 and 1/4 multiplied by 5 and 5/7 times 8. So here's 48 plus 1 is 49 over 4 times 35 plus 5 is 40 over 7 times 8 over 1. Okay, ooh, so I see my 7s are going to turn into 7 and 1. And I can see this 4. Okay, which one do I want to do? I can see this goes here and here. Oh, I'm going to go the 40 just because it's bigger than 8. So that goes in there 1 time and 10. So now, right, I can't go any smaller. These are all 1s. So my denominator is 1. Okay, so now I'm going to go 7 times 8 first. Commutative property, as long as I do all 3, it won't matter. 7 times 8 is 56. 56 times 10 is 560 divided by 1. So my volume is 560 inches cubed. Okay, so line them all up, make them improper, simplify. Numerators, denominators, make it back to a mixed number here. Okay, so what if it gives us the volume and we're working backwards? So we know the formula for volume is length times width times height. Let's plug in what we know on this one. We know the volume is, actually I'm going to do it down here, 386 is the volume. The length is 16 times, we don't know the width, times 9. I want to get W by itself. I'm doing everything backwards. We've done this before, right? I want W by itself. So I'm going to do 386 and I'm going to divide it by 9 on both sides. Divide by 9, divide by 9. There we go. So we're taking 386 and dividing by 9 here. So that is 4, 36, 2 left over. That goes in there. It left me, guys. 2 times. Wow. Okay. 18. That was, wow, too hard. Okay. So, and then we have 8 left over. There we go. And we're going to add that 0 in there. Okay. And that goes in there. 9's too big. 8 times is 72. And we've got an 8 here. Looks like we're going to keep getting on 8, 8, 8 forever. So we're going to call it 42.88. Okay. So now we have 42.88 equals 16 W's. I want W by itself. Looking for W, right? I'm doing everything backwards. Divide by 16s, right? Normally we'd multiply. Now we're dividing. So divide by 16 on both sides. So all I'm left with is W. And we're going to do 42.88 divide by 16. So it can't go into the 4. Goes in there 2 times, which is 32. Got 10 left over, bringing down an 8. I put my decimal up. Let's try 16 times 5 is 30. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, it's bigger than 5. So another 16 would be, so I know 16 times 6 is going to be 96. Can I get another one? 42, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ooh, just a little bit too big. So there's a 6. So there's 96. So there's 2 and 1. 128. Oh, that's too small. Okay, 16 times 8. Oh my goodness, is it going to go in there? Perfect. Yes, 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 it's going to go in there. Perfect. 8 times. All right, our width is 2.68 inches. Bam, there we go. So if I do 16 times 2.68 times 9, I will end up with 386 cubic inches, right? So if it gives you that, you're just working backwards. Normally we multiply length times width times height. So if you want to find one of the sides, you just divide, because, right, we're doing everything opposite to get W by itself.